Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and I'm here today to do the end of the year book tag. So this was originally created by Ariel Bissett. There are 6 questions in which we talk about end of the year reading plans. I saw this recently on Mel's channel, a book fan named Mel, best booktube buddy, talk about her all the time. And I was like, hey, I don't think I've done that in a while. I can't remember if I did it last year or the year before. I think I've done it before, but I don't know when. And I thought that it would be a fun little thing to talk about today. So we're going to jump in. I've got a couple of books here to talk about, and we'll start with question number 1, which is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? So I will have a whole video about this topic up in about a week's time, but I picked out 2 honorable mentions for this video. I have The Sea Witch by Katie Robert, which is the 5th book in this series, the second last one. As you can see, I have indeed started it. I've read 80 pages and I put it down, so I would really like to get to this one by the end of the year. And I also wanted to mention Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Sorry, Fletchy's doing something weird down there. And yeah, I should finish this one. I'm 92 pages into that one. And yeah, I'd just like to finish this by the end of the year so that I can move on to some of TJR's other books. So those are 2 that you will see again in that video, but I wanted to mention them here. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? This is, of course, irrelevant because I am in the southern hemisphere and it is spring. So don't have an autumnal book, but also don't have a spring book, because what is a spring book? I don't know. I also don't really do the whole seasonal read thing. I don't know, I really feel like there aren't even genres that I tend to read more in particular seasons. Like, yeah, there just isn't. Like, and if I want to read a Christmas book in May, I'm going to read a Christmas book in May. Like, I just don't really go with that whole seasonal thing. So yeah. Question number 3 is there a new release you're still waiting for? There are a couple that I'm still waiting to be released. The one that immediately comes to mind is the new Chloe Lease, which I have just forgotten the title of, but I will put the cover here. I think it's 2 Wrongs Make a Right, or something like that. I don't know. But this is her first traditionally published. She wrote, or she's still writing, the Bergman Brothers / Sisters series, which is all indie pubbed. This is her first traditional publishing, which is just really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to getting to this one. It's out in November, but I don't know, I may like pick it up like release day and read it immediately, or I may kind of hold off. We'll see. Number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So I have 3 here. So first of all, I have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint, which is, again, rather Mel inspired, but this one I just keep putting on TBRs. Sorry, it's so glary. And then I just don't pick it up. Like, I really, really want to. I'm very interested in this, but I'm just like hesitating and I'm not really sure why. But I'm hoping that by the end of the year I can get to this. So maybe this might be one that I even try and push myself to read in October. Maybe even before. Maybe I start it like in the next day or two. Yeah, we'll see. And then I have Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This would be my first Hobb ever. Yeah, so I'm a little scared, but I also want to read this as part of a video that I want to do in November. So I do need to read it in order to do that video. I don't really have a lot to say about this because I am going into it pretty blind. It's hard to be on BookTube and not hear anything about Robin Hobb, but I'm mostly trying to just shut that out. I wasn't sure that I was ever going to be interested in Robin Hobb. I picked this up last year, so we're going to give it a go and see how we go with actually reading it. And then finally, I thought I would pick one that I feel like I might actually end up just unhauling / DNFing, and that is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. I tried a little bit of this months and months ago. This was also meant to be for a video, but I've kind of given up on that idea because I had like 6 books that I was meant to read and I've read like 1, and that was in like February. So I'm not sure that video is ever going to happen. But I read a little bit of this back then and I wasn't super impressed. But I want to start it again. I want to go in with an open mind and read, I don't know, try and at least kind of make it to the 100 pages mark. Or if I get to it before and really don't like it, just DNF and unhaul it. But I just don't know. I was excited for this when I bought it for the video, and yeah, now I'm just less enthused. So yes, those are the 3 there that I'd like to get to, maybe. The next one is question 5, which is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? When I was thinking about this, I was like, I don't know that I even have a favorite book of the year so far because nothing immediately comes to mind. But if anyone's going to do it, if any author is going to completely blow my mind and become the favorite of the year, it's going to be Ellie Marnie, like, obviously. So I haven't hauled this one yet. I just went to the launch. This is The Killing Code. This is her most recent release, obviously because it was the launch. This is a 1940s sapphic mystery thriller about a group of girls who are code breakers in the 1940s, and yeah, there's some relationships, but there's also a serial killer because it's Ellie Marnie. And that's not usually my kind of thing, but I love Ellie Marnie so much that I'm just so excited for this. And yeah, like I said, if anyone's gonna like knock it out of the park for me, it's Ellie Marnie. So those are those ones. And then the final question is, have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes and no is the answer. So I don't have any particular goals in mind. I don't even have a number I'm going to try and aim for. Things are kind of a little up in the air for me at the moment in terms of work and uni and other things. Like, I don't really know what next year is going to hold for me. So I don't want to make any solid goals of like, I need to read this number, I want to have my TBR at this number, until sort of towards the end of December when I can kind of, think about where things might be starting off for me in the first few months, and I have a little bit more of a solid plan. But at the same time, I do also have a couple of books that I know, or authors that I know that I'm going to read next year. I've talked about before the fact that I'm attending a bunch of romance events, one of which is this weekend, but there are a bunch, 3 hopefully next year, and I have a whole list of all of the authors that are attending, and I've broken them down into ones that I am personally interested in reading. So I know that I'm going to spend a good chunk of the start of 2023 reading those authors, so that I know who I want to meet, I know who I want to get books signed from, and things like that. So that's really my only reading plan for that. And I guess here and there are some other things, like knowing that I want to move on to the Trials of Apollo series next year. I'm playing with the idea of trying to finish off Poirot and moving on to Marvel and things like that, but nothing that is super set in stone, basically. So that's the end of the tag. I'd love to hear what you're planning for the end of the year. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.